Hello everyone, good evening. So, like I told you that day, this is our editorial explorer series, right? But today in editorial explorer series, we are going to do specially only tone identification because that day someone asked me ki, ma'am, sometimes it is difficult for us to identify the tones, right? So what I did today is I brought mini RCs. Okay, so we have small mini RCs with us, and we'll try to identify tone from every para that we are going to study. So what I've done is I have taken some paragraphs, and based on those paragraphs, I have one tone question with me. So we are going to solve the tone question. Okay, let's go ahead. So, despite the proliferation of productivity tools, empirical studies suggest a paradox. Now, see, the sentence itself starts with despite, right? Despite the proliferation. Now, what do you mean by proliferation? Okay, sorry. What do you mean by proliferation? Proliferation is, increase, plenty, abundant, lot of. Okay, so let's say plenty of. Okay, so despite the increase or plenty of productivity tools, empirical studies. Now, empirical is based on observation, right? Empirical is something which is based on observation. So empirical studies suggest a paradox. So there are so many productivity tools, but in spite of all those productivity tools, scientific studies or studies based on observation suggest a paradox. Now what is that paradox? The more individuals track their time, the less efficiently they seem to use it. So अब जितना ज्यादा ट्रैक करोगे उतना ज्यादा आप लेस एफिशिएंट हो जाओगे. Very simple. The more you are, engaged in tracking your time, the less efficient you will be. This is the paradox. Okay, this is the paradox. Because technically, if we are tracking our time, we must become more efficient, but that doesn't happen. We don't become more efficient, we actually become less efficient. Cognitive overload, decision fatigue, and the illusion of progress. So what happens is cognitive overload means our brain gets overloaded, right? We have decision fatigue. Should we do this? Should we do that? I don't have time for doing this, I don't have time for doing that. That is decision fatigue. Fatigue is stress. And the illusion of progress, we just get an illusion of progress, we are actually not making any progress. Okay, we just get an illusion of progress, manifested through color coded calendars and habit trackers, often mask the absence of deep work. So, whenever you are tracking your entire day, you have planned your entire week, and you planned your entire day hour wise also, and it is color coded calendars, and habit tracker is there. You drink this much water, you have meal at this time. So, all these things, they actually indicate absence of deep work. This is author's analysis, this is author's perspective. Okay, a meta-analysis of workplace behavior revealed that task switching increased by 32% when digital reminders were employed. So, author says that when you actually, when there was an analysis done of workplace behavior, and in that analysis, whenever you put reminders in your calendars, okay, so for example, there's a 2 o'clock reminder to have lunch, there's 2:30 reminder to start a meeting, there's 3:30 reminder to track progress, there's 4 o'clock reminder for anything else. So what happened is task switching happened. Means whatever people were doing, they left that thing midway and they started doing another thing. So that happened. Okay, so that is task switching increased by 32% when digital reminders were employed. Thus, while the intent behind such tools is optimization, their actual impact may be counterproductive unless paired with intentional prioritization and cognitive rest cycles. So, what author says that the intent behind the reminders, color coded calendars, or habit trackers, what is the, main motive of these tools? The main motive is optimization. But optimization is not happening. Their actual impact may be counterproductive. Okay, counterproductive means against productive. So it might be counterproductive unless so author is giving us a condition here, unless paired with intentional prioritization and cognitive rest cycle. Cognitive rest cycle, please give rest to your brain for 10 minutes. Or intentional prioritization means although your 2:30 alarm is set for your meeting, but you intentionally prioritize little bit of more lunch time, which also serves as a bonding exercise between teammates, and you give preference to another meeting. So that is called as intentional prioritization and cognitive rest cycles. Okay. Now this is the paragraph. Now based on this paragraph, what is the tone of the paragraph discussing productivity tools and their paradoxical effects? Now, question has been asked like what is the tone? Now let's analyze some of the tone indicator words here. Okay, let's analyze some of the tone indicator words. We have very clear tone indicator words. Okay, first thing, see, empirical studies suggest a paradox. Okay, cognitive overload, decision fatigue, illusion of progress. Okay, then a meta-analysis. Okay, revealed the task switching increased by 32% when digital reminders were employed. Thus, while the intent behind such tools is optimization, their actual impact may be counterproductive unless paired with intentional prioritization, cognitive rest cycles. All these words, whatever words I have underlined, all these words give us a feeling that author is analyzing the issue, isn't it? He is using these big words, he is analyzing the issue, and he is very serious about the issue. He has done a very deep analysis, like therefore he is using the terminologies like cognitive overload, decision fatigue, illusion of progress, right? Or 32% is a statistics that is indicated. So this shows us that author has also referred to some of the research that has taken place, correct? Because since he's quoting us figures, he might have referred to these statistics also, correct? Then, when he says optimization, counterproductive, intentional prioritization, all these words indicate a deep thinking and analysis of the given subject, right? Now, let's try to find out, let's try to eliminate the options. Okay, hi Arnav, good evening. Let's try to eliminate the options. Analytical, I've already discussed with you. Pessimistic, is, let's say, negative tone. Okay, pessimistic is negative tone, right? Sarcastic tone is, you are employing lot of satire, you are employing lot of sarcasm in that, right? Optimistic is positive tone. Yes, Arnav, right. The answer is analytical. Okay, the answer is analytical. Please make sure you understand the words that I have highlighted in order to come to the conclusion of your answer. Okay, let's go ahead. Now, history is repellent. Repellent means full of. Okay, repellent is full of. History is repellent with moments where adversity catalyzed innovation. The Great Plague birthed Newton's theory of gravity. Recessions have seeded some of the most resilient startups. So, author here says that history is full of moments where adversity is what? A unfavorable situation, right? Adversity is what? Unfavorable situation. So author says that history is full of moments where adversity, that is, unfavorable situations have catalyzed innovation. Catalyzed means triggered. Okay, catalyzed means triggered. Catalyze is trigger. Okay, triggered innovation. The Great Plague, birthed means give rise to, so gave rise to Newton's theory of gravity. Recessions have seeded, means grown to be some of the most resilient startups. Human ingenuity, ingenuity is intelligence, human intelligence. When cornered means what? When you put human intelligence in corner where there is no way to escape, where there is no way to escape, tends to flourish, means our intelligence tends to flourish when we are cornered. Okay, as climate challenges mount, the surge in green tech, circular economies and regenerative agriculture signals not despair. Despair is what? Loss of hope, right? Despair is loss of hope, but a renaissance. Renaissance is a period of changes, right? Renaissance is a period of changes. The arc of progress, though jagged, jagged means upar niche hone wala, right? Jagged is, this this is jagged, right? Jagged bends towards solutions, provided we remain curious, collaborative, and courageous. So, see, now let's try to find out the tone identification words. Okay, see, catalyzed innovation, okay, birthed, I can say, seeded, I can say, right? Human ingenuity, when cornered, tends to flourish. Surge in green tech, circular economies, and regenerative agriculture signals not despair but a renaissance. The arc of progress bends towards solutions, provided we remain curious, collaborative, and courageous. All these words are very positive words, right? All these words are very positive. They indicate a positive sense, they indicate something very optimistic. So what should be the tone then? It is not cautionary, it is not skeptical, it is not pessimistic, it is optimistic. The author is very happy about the progress. Okay, the author is very happy about the progress. Okay, let's go ahead. To understand the fallacy of composition, fallacy is error, okay, flaw of composition, one must grasp its premise. What is true of a part is not necessarily true of the whole. So, something that applies to small amount might not be necessarily true for the whole. Something which is applicable for a small part might not be applicable for the whole. This is what the author is saying. Consider a stadium where each spectator stands to get a better view. Obviously, na, if you are in a stadium and everyone is standing up, will you get a better view? Some people have to sit down, then only you will get a better view, isn't it? If all stand, visibility worsens. Correct. If everyone stands, then the visibility is going to worsen. This principle applies across economies, ecology, and ethics. So, this principle where everybody is standing and visibility is dropping, this principle applies to economics, ecology, and ethics also. Okay. Misapplying individual logic to collective systems leads to flawed policies and unintended consequences. So, you apply individual logic to collective system, means you apply one small economic principle to the entire subject. Okay, then it will have flawed policies and unintended consequences. Therefore, critical thinking demands not just deduction but contextual awareness. So while critical thinking, just deduction is not sufficient, contextual awareness should also be there. This is what the author is trying to tell us. So don't you get a feel? Now let's try to find out the words. Okay, hi Ajay, good evening. ओके आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू, ओके आई रिपीट इन हिंदी वंस. ठीक है, ऑथर यहाँ पे क्या बता रहा है पता है? ऑथर बता रहा है आपको कि जो चीज छोटे चीज के लिए आप अप्लाई कर सकते हो, जरूरी नहीं है कि वो आप पूरे होल के लिए भी अप्लाई कर सकते हो. ठीक है, जैसे कि ऑथर यहाँ पे एक स्टेडियम का एग्जांपल दे रहा है. आप क्रिकेट मैच देखने जा रहे हो स्टेडियम में, सारे लोग खड़े हो गए, या फिर मूवी का एग्जांपल ले लो, है ना, मूवी में सब लोग अगर खड़े हो गए तो क्या आपको दिखेगा क्या? स्टेडियम में अगर सारे लोग खड़े हो गए तो क्या आपको दिखेगा क्या? ऑब्वियसली नहीं दिखेगा। कुछ लोगों का नीचे बैठना जरूरी है ना, राइट? सो अगर सब लोग खड़े हो जाएंगे तो विजिबिलिटी कम हो जाएगी। दिस इज व्हाट ऑथर इज सेइंग। अब ऑथर आगे जाके ये बोलता है कि आप जब ये जो गलत लॉजिक है ना, आप अगर किसी छोटी चीज को जो लॉजिक अप्लाई होता है वही लॉजिक अगर आप बड़ी चीज को भी अप्लाई करते हो तो क्या होगा ना, पॉलिसीज में गलती आ जाएगी एंड अनइंटेंडेड कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस होंगे इसके। ठीक है, देयरफॉर ऑथर सेज दैट क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग में सिर्फ कंक्लूजन निकालना जरूरी नहीं है, कंटेक्चुअल अवेयरनेस भी होना चाहिए। कंटेक्चुअल अवेयरनेस मीन्स व्हाट? एज अ होल आपके आजू बाजू में क्या हो रहा है, एज अ होल आपके आजू बाजू में क्या हो रहा है, दैट इज कंटेक्चुअल अवेयरनेस। तो एक चीज तो कॉमन है कि ऑथर आपको कुछ तो भी सीख देने की कोशिश कर रहा है, राइट? Author here is trying to teach you something. Author is giving you an example of stadium. He has a theory and he wants you to learn that theory. He wants to persuade you with that theory, right? This is what is happening, correct? Now let's see the tone. Didactic is overly teaching or instructive. Overly teaching or instructive. Humorous, you know. Skeptical is doubtful, right? Ironic is potentially contradictory situations, right? Potentially contradictory situations. Now we have to find out the tone from here, right? It is not humorous, it is not doubtful, and there are no contradictory situations given to us. So it is not ironic, it is didactic, it's teaching. The author is trying to teach us something. The author is trying to teach us the logic that something that is true for a small part is not necessarily true for the whole. This is what this is the concept that the author is trying to tell us here. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead. Now, in an age obsessed with authenticity, influencers meticulously curate their unfiltered self. Now, meticulous means what? I'll write down here. Meticulous is attentive to details. Okay. So they create their unfiltered self in an age obsessed with authenticity. Obsessed with means what? We want everything authentic. विलेज वाला फील आना चाहिए, स्पेस वाला फील आना चाहिए, जेल वाला फील आना चाहिए, राइट? थीम के रेस्टोरेंट्स होते हैं, राइट? सो यू नो वी आर ऑब्सेस्ड विथ ऑथेंटिसिटी, वी आर ऑब्सेस्ड विथ trying to find out how the real life of celebrities is, how do they look in their real life, what do they do in their real life, what do they eat in their real life, right? So you know, influencers, they very attentively create their unfiltered self. This is what the author is saying. The irony is almost poetic. Irony means what? The contradiction. The contradiction is almost poetic, the author is saying. Okay, poetic means, you know, it feels that the situations are so contradictory and, you know, people don't even realize that. Okay, so author is saying that it feels unreal. It feels very poetic. Okay, filters are applied to appear filterless. So see here, filters are applied to appear filterless. Vulnerability is rehearsed, right? Vulnerability is rehearsed. Spontaneity is scheduled. All these are opposite words. All these are opposite words. Okay, please make sure you understand that. Filters are applied to appear filterless, right? Either you apply the filter or you don't apply the filter, correct? Vulnerability is rehearsed means, for example, if you are scared of something, then they will rehearse that you are scared of something. They will rehearse the reaction of being scared, right? They will rehearse the reaction of being scared. So vulnerability is rehearsed. Spontaneity is scheduled. Spontaneity means what? Doing something without any prior intimation, right? Doing something without any prior intimation. But that spontaneity is also scheduled. Basically, spontaneity should be on the spot, right? It should be on the spot. But no, it is not on the spot. It is also scheduled. Okay. The pursuit is chase. Okay, pursuit is chase of realness, has become a performance complete with metrics and monetization. So there's money in that, there's measurement in that. One wonders whether the only truly authentic act left is opting out of the spectacle entirely, though even that ironically might trend. Now, see here, the last sentence, what the author is saying here is, one wonders means one thinks, one might, think that the truly authentic act that is left is to opt out entirely of this spectacle. Spectacle means जो तमाशा चल रहा है. Spectacle is tamasha, right? So whatever spectacle, whatever this tamasha of this online influencers is happening, so excluding yourself entirely out of this spectacle is the only true authentic act left. बट ऑथर को पता है क्या लगता है कि दिस ऑप्टिंग आउट भी ट्रेंड हो जाएगा. ऑप्टिंग आउट आयरॉनिकली माइट ट्रेंड मीन्स लोग है ना ऑप्ट आउट करने लगेंगे. आई डोंट वांट टू डू दिस, आई डोंट वांट टू डू दैट, आई डोंट वांट टू मेक रील्स विच साउंड फेक. सो पीपल विल स्टार्ट ऑप्टिंग आउट ऑल्सो, और वो भी ट्रेंड हो जाएगा, ऐसा ऑथर को लगता है. ठीक है. So this is the meaning of the paragraph. अब आप देखो, like the phrases that I underlined, filters are applied to appear filterless, right? Vulnerability is rehearsed, spontaneity is scheduled, pursuit of realness has become a performance. See, realness, performance. Correct? Authentic act left is opting out of the spectacle entirely. That might also trend. All these, words, all these phrases that are used are contradictory to each other. Aren't they? Aren't they? They are contradictory to each other. Spontaneity schedule, filters are applied to appear filterless, vulnerability is rehearsed. So all this is what? Ironic. All this is ironic. It is not humorous, it is not optimistic, it is not didactic also. It is ironic, potentially contradictory to each other. Okay? Please make sure here that you try to understand the tone identification words also, because these words are your building blocks. The words are your building blocks here. Okay, let's go ahead. The average person spends 6 years of their life waiting at traffic lights, in queues, for software updates. If patience were a currency, we'll all be billionaires. So ऑथर बोल रहा है यहाँ पे कि एवरेज लाइफ में वी स्पेंड 6 years ओनली वेटिंग. नाउ वेटिंग फॉर व्हाट? वेटिंग एट ट्रैफिक लाइट, वेटिंग इन क्यूज, वेटिंग फॉर सॉफ्टवेयर अपडेट्स. So we wait so much that if patience was a currency, we'll all be millionaires and billionaires. Yet, despite this temporal wealth, we still tap elevator buttons repeatedly. कितनी बार दबाते हैं हम लोग? पता है आने वाली, फिर भी दबाते हैं हम लोग, right? We still tap elevator buttons repeatedly as if summoning a deity. Summoning a deity. Deity means God. Okay? Deity is God. Summoning is to call. Okay? Summon is to call. Perhaps evolution forgot to install a chill gene. So पता है शायद क्या हुआ होगा, ऑथर ऐसा बोल रहा है ना. I feel what has happened is when we were in the evolutionary phase, so evolution actually forgot to install a chill gene. This is what the author is saying. Okay. Or maybe deep down we believe the universe responds faster to passive aggressive sighs. Like फिर से दबाना, फिर से दबाना. That is what? Passive aggressive sigh. Correct. So maybe maybe evolution forgot to put a chill gene in us, or maybe we still deeply feel that universe responds faster to passive aggressive signs. This is what author says. Okay, now let's see the tones. Okay, the average person spends 6 years, say if we start, okay, at traffic lights in queues for software updates. If patience were a currency, see this line. If patience were a currency, we would all be billionaires, right? Okay. Hi, Sunflower. Good evening. So we'll all be billionaires. Now see, summoning a deity, right? Or evolution forgot to install a chill gene. Now this actually shows us a comic sense, isn't it? This shows us a comic sense. Okay. So, when we talk about these, evolution forgot to put a chill gene. So हमें थोड़ा सा एक comic sense मिलता है इससे. So sarcasm तो नहीं है ये. It's not negative also. It's not cautionary also. What it is? It is humorous. It is humorous. Okay. Let's go ahead. Of course, the best way to solve climate change is to tweet about it. Okay. Now see, the line starts itself from best way to solve climate change is to tweet about it. What do you think about this line? When I say this, that best way to solve a climate change is to tweet about it. Don't you think that author is, being sarcastic? Right? Author is being sarcastic. That is the best way to solve climate change is to tweet about it. So really, tweeting will solve climate change problem? Do we think so? Do we think that climate change is going to be, solved by just sitting at home and tweeting about it? Obviously not, na? It's not going to happen. Nothing screams environmental stewardship like a biodegradable hashtag. See, another thing, okay? If you want to take responsibility of, environmental disasters, if you want to take responsibility towards environment, so what you have to do is biodegradable hashtag. See, biodegradable hashtag kya hota hai yaar? I mean, is it possible? Obviously not, na? So again, author is being sarcastic here, right? Why bother with policy reform or carbon offsets when you can change your profile picture to a melting iceberg? See that again, that sarcasm is coming, right? What the author is saying is, why do we have to bother with policy reform? Don't do policy reform. Just sit at home and change your profile picture to melting iceberg. That's it. आप इतना ही करोगे तो climate change हो जाएगा. This is what the author is saying. Don't do policy change. Sit at home and change your DP. After all, the planet clearly responds to digital virtue signals. Planet किसको respond करता है? Digital signals को respond करता है, ऐसा author बोलता है. Next up, curing pandemics with inspirational quotes. See, curing pandemic. Can pandemic be cured by inspirational quotes? Obviously not, right? Obviously not. So this is again what all these lines, biodegradable hashtag, right? Best way to solve climate change is to tweet about it. Curing pandemics with inspirational quotes, right? Why bother with policy reform when you can sit and change your picture to melting iceberg? All these examples indicate the sarcastic or satirical tone of the author, right? All these words indicate a sarcasm, a satire by the part of author. So here it should be sarcastic, right? Here it should be sarcastic. Okay, let's go ahead. Technological convenience often comes at the cost of cognitive erosion. Okay, now what the author is saying that technological convenience comes at the cost of cognitive erosion. Means what? You're getting technological convenience, but your thinking is eroding. Your thinking is becoming less. Yeah, what? You do this now. Everyone must be doing this. You want to, write a mail. You tell ChatGPT to write a mail. You want to write an essay. You tell ChatGPT to write an essay. You want to, quote something. You just tell ChatGPT to do it. Isn't it? So this is technological convenience. And this has come at the cost of cognitive erosion, decline in your thinking ability. Okay? Decline in your thinking ability. GPS has dulled our spatial memory. Previously, when there was no GPS, people used to figure out ways, no? They used to travel during that time also, right? Do they used to sit at home? No, they used to travel. So, because of GPS, what has happened is we don't want to remember the roads now. We don't want to remember the path where it leads. We don't want to remember directions. We don't want to do anything. We're like, okay, GPS will tell me, right? Autocorrect has numbed our spelling instincts. Autocorrect से क्या हुआ है पता है? We don't know the correct spelling, right? Because of autocorrect, we don't know the correct spelling. Our spelling instincts have gone. They have numbed. Okay, they have been numbed. As algorithms anticipate our choices, the muscle of decision making atrophies. Means what? The muscle of decision making atrophies means it's starting to reduce. The muscle of decision making, has started degrading, has started becoming less and less. If we outsource too much to machines, we risk becoming passive consumers of thought. We will only be passive consumers. Everything AI will tell us and will consume it. AI will tell us and will consume it. We'll be passive. Right now, we are active. Right? We think, we talk, we debate, we argue. That is active. But, you know, if we rely too much on AI, if we rely too much on machines, what is going to happen is we'll just become passive consumers. We'll just sit and whatever AI tells us, we'll just think that only. The line between augmentation and dependency is thin. Augmentation is increasing, right? Augmentation is increasing. So augmentation and dependency is thin, and once crossed, rarely retraced. Rarely retraced means what? Author says that, if we rely so much on machines, we can't go back. Now you are so used to GPS, can you go back to not using GPS? Obviously we can't go back, right? Because our spatial memory is so bad. Now, previously there used to be the phones where you need to dial the numbers. There were landlines, right? There were landlines which had buttons on it, and in order to call someone you had to press buttons on that. So what happened is, when you used to press the buttons, no, you actually remembered the number, you actually remembered phone number of that person, correct? But nowadays all the numbers are just programmed in your cell phone, and you don't have to remember the phone numbers. Even if we remember one or two numbers, that was still fine. But nowadays we don't have to remember anything, right? When you used to press the buttons, you used to dial, you used to remember the phone numbers. So nowadays it's not needed. So author is saying that as soon as our dependency increases on these kind of machines, we are going to be passive consumers or thought. And once that boundary is crossed, we can't go back, right? This is what the author is saying. We can't go back. So, what happens is, the first feeling that comes to our mind when we read this is we become alert, and there's little bit a sliver of fear that comes in our mind, right? We are little bit afraid of what machines might do to us, correct? We are little bit afraid that acha aisa ho raha hai, oh really, is this happening? So this is the first instinct that comes to your mind, right? Another thing that comes is, okay, is if this is happening, I might need to rethink some things. Correct? This is what we do. So now let's see. Pessimistic. I can't say the entire paragraph is pessimistic. It is not negative. It is warning you of something, right? The whole paragraph seems like a warning, isn't it? It's not negative. I won't say negative, right? So it's not negative. It's not teaching also, isn't it? It's not doubtful also. Is it doubtful? It's not doubtful. It's cautionary. Means warning again. That's what I was telling you. It's warning you. It's cautioning you. See, this is going to happen. See, this can happen. If you overly rely on machines, if you create so much dependency, this is what is going to happen. You can't go back. So author is cautioning, author is warning you of something. See, in this case, there's very fine line between pessimistic and cautionary. Okay. Pessimistic is you're talking negatively about it, but author is not being negative. He's not blaming AI, he's not blaming machines. Is he blaming them? No. Is he being negative about them? No. He's just warning us what is going to happen if we become overly dependent on machines. So it is cautionary. Okay, let's go ahead. The promise of AI revolutionizing education sounds compelling until one examines the data. So, when we think about AI as revolutionizing education, it sounds very good. But, you know, it sounds good only till the time we examine the data. So, after examining the data, we might change our opinion. Okay, after examining the data, we might change our opinion. Adaptive learning platforms boast personalization, yet often reinforce biases in content delivery. Now, see, the author is giving examples here. Okay, author is giving examples here. Author says that, adaptive learning platforms, they boast personalization. Means what? The learning platform will help you according to your needs. If you are very weak in studies, the platform will adapt and give you questions according to that. If you are very intelligent, the platform will, again adapt and give you difficult questions. So this is adaptive learning platforms. They boast personalization. They talk tall claims. Boast is what? Tall claims, right? They talk about tall claims of personalization. Yet biases are there in the content delivery. Yet we can see the biases in content delivery. Means when they actually give us the content, okay, when they actually give us the personalized content, we can actually see that there is bias in this. Okay. Now, engagement metrics rise, but comprehension stagnates. So stagnate means what? Keeping still, not moving. Okay. So engagement metrics rise means lot of people engage with the platform, but comprehension is not moving. Comprehension is still. Comprehension hasn't increased. Okay, this is what author says. Are we mistaking novelty for efficacy? Novelty is newness, right? Novelty is newness. Efficacy, I'll write down here. Efficacy is, how much efficient it is, how much efficient a particular technique is. Okay, so I will say measurement of efficiency, right? I will say measurement of efficiency. Efficacy. So are we mistaking newness for efficiency? Means it's not efficiency, it's actually something new. And we feel, अरे कितना अच्छा है यार, we feel this. Novelty is what? Oh my god, this is so wow. This is novelty. Are we, trying to replace efficacy with novelty? Without rigorous pedagogy and human oversight. Rigorous pedagogy means, teaching the system to do something. Pedagogy is teaching, right? Pedagogy is knowledge, teaching, instructions. So without rigorous pedagogy and human oversight means our supervision, human supervision. The smart classroom may simply be a shinier echo chamber. So it will just be an echo chamber. There won't be anything new in that. It will just echo what we already feel. Okay, it will just echo what we already feel. So, without rigorous pedagogy and human oversight, the smart classroom may simply be shinier echo chamber. Now, let's talk about the you know tone. Okay. Now, see, the promise of AI revolutionizing education sounds compelling until one examines the data, right? So, adaptive learning boasts personalization yet often reinforce bias. Engagement metrics rise but comprehension stagnates. May simply be shinier echo chamber. So, all this is what? It's not humorous, right? It's not humorous. It's not analytical. It's definitely not optimistic. It is what? Skeptical. The author is very doubtful about AI, right? The author is really very doubtful about AI, or he is questioning AI, right? He's questioning everything, isn't it? He is questioning everything. So he is very doubtful about AI. So we get the tone as skeptical. Let's go ahead. Modern civilization, for all its technological triumphs is win, okay, seems to be hurtling towards entropy. So seems to be hurtling towards entropy. Now author here is talking about modern civilization, right? So modern civilization means he is not talking about ancient civilizations or historical part, right? So modern civilization, for all its technological triumphs. Technological triumph means wins. We have won on so many parts in technology, right? We have won on so many parts of technology, correct? So seems to be hurtling towards entropy. Entropy is a scientific concept. Okay, it's a thermodynamics concept. Okay, entropy जो है, अगर if you have studied thermodynamics तो आपको वो thermodynamic का एक concept है, ये पता होगा. Generally अभी अगर यहाँ पे हमें apply करना है, so what will say is modern civilization, for all its technological wins, seems to be hurtling towards randomness. Okay, it's showing you randomness. There's nothing fixed about it. So that is why we are hurtling towards randomness, abstractness. There's no fixed boundary, anything like that. Climate models grow bleaker. Okay, so bleak is lacking hope. Okay, bleak is lacking hope. Climate models grow bleaker. Political discourse more fractured. So political thinking, political, policy making is fractured. It's cracked. Okay. Mental health statistics more alarming. Alarming means they are very much serious. Okay, they are very much serious. They are very much alarming. They are very much cautionary. Progress, once linear, now feels like a mirage. Visible but unreachable. Mirage is what? You chalawa, what you call in Hindi, right? Mirage is what? A chalawa. Mirage is when you are in desert, you see the far away lighter air as water, right? That is mirage. So I can say illusion. In simple terms, if I have to say, I will say illusion. Okay. So, progress is illusion. It is visible, but we can't reach it. Okay. It is visible, but we can't reach it. This is what author says here. Okay. Pessimistic, Arnav. Okay. Let us go ahead and see. Okay. Let us go ahead and see. So, perhaps the greatest illusion of our age is that we are in control. Okay, we are in control. When in fact, we are merely accelerating towards an uncertain abyss. Abyss means, very deep, dark hole. So, we are just going towards uncertain, deep, dark hole. So, देखो ना यार, towards hurtling towards entropy, bleaker, fractured, alarming, mirage, greatest illusion of our ages. We are in control. We are merely accelerating towards an uncertain abyss. My God, so negative words. So many negative words, no? All these are what? Very negative words. So we'll have to go with pessimistic, negative, very negative words. Like even we start to feel hopeless when we read this, right? Even we start to feel hopeless when we read this. So it's very pessimistic attitude. Okay? It's a very pessimistic attitude. Let's go ahead. This is the last tone question of today. This is the last tone para. So there were 10 paras. Okay? There were 10 paras, 10 tone words that we did today. Okay? I am going to continue this series next time when I come. Next week, I'm going to bring 10 new words, 10 new tone words. Okay? So 10 we have done today, 10 will be doing in the next week. So we often chase clarity as if it were a destination, not realizing it's a process. So, we want clarity. Clarity किसको नहीं चाहिए यार? सबको clarity चाहिए. Clarity in career, clarity in emotions, clarity in personal life. We want clarity everywhere. But clarity is not a destination, it's a process. The questions that haunt us means torture us, about purpose, identity, truth, rarely yield to binary answers. Binary answers means 0 1. That is, yes or no. Yes or no answers. Okay? Instead, they invite us to dwell in ambiguity, to wrestle with nuance. Nuance are different layers. Okay, nuance are different layers, different outlooks. Okay, in that wrestling, we grow. Perhaps the goal isn't resolution, but resilience. The ability to sit with complexity without rushing to simplify. Don't you feel that the author is just sitting and thinking, and all these are random thoughts that come to author's mind, right? All these words, all these sentences, they don't make too much of practical sense. They are not very pragmatic. They are not very practical, and it feels as if the author is sitting and he doesn't have any work. He's very free, and in his free time he's just sitting and thinking about it, isn't it? It feels like this, no? It feels like this when we read the para. That author is just sitting and he's thinking. He's very free in his time. So I can't say didactic. There's no analysis done. There's no sarcasm. Reflective means thoughtful. Okay, reflective is thoughtful. Pensive, I can say. Another word is pensive for this. Okay, another word is pensive. So here the author is just sitting and thinking. He is being very thoughtful, deeply thoughtful, I will say. Okay, deeply thoughtful, pensive. So it should be reflective. Okay, so we did 10 tone words today. Most of these tone words are very common in all the IPMAT related exams. Okay, I will try to bring 10 new tone words in the next week. So next week we'll have one editorial. We'll do one editorial in one class, and the next class again will continue with this tone series. Okay, so that is it for today. Thank you so much guys. Have a great week. Bye bye.